What's up, everyone, and welcome to X-Ray, our Skeleton Crew after show. I was going to introduce our guests, but I brought Scotty so much joy.
Oh my God, he did it, y'all. Chat, he did it. No way. Jerry, what game was that from? What game was that from, Jerry?
Me? I have no clue.
You're too young. You're too young, Jerry. That was young. Gangplank Galleon from Donkey Kong Country. Some excellent pirate music.
It's perfect.
Even though I want to point out that Jared Willette supports my music choice last week, and I appreciate that, Jared.
A lot of people supported it. It wasn't pirate music.
It was kind of a shanty feel.
It was shirey.
It was very
yeah. I could do this with a mug of ale too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe Jerry froze.
We got to cancel him, y'all.
What an unprofessional person this is.
I'll tell you.
Before we get too deep, I want to introduce our guests, since I just brought them on because Scotty was dancing and I was hoping to catch some of that. But welcome to the show, the Bombadcast, Scotty and Jerry.
Yes, I am Scotty from the Bombadcast. And this is Jerry from the Bombadcast. And we're so happy to be here. We were on for Bad Batch coverage from season 1. And now we're back for some Skeleton Crew talking about Fuzzball. So that's very exciting stuff. Happy to have. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Glad to see you here. It's awesome.
Yeah, good to be. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not, or if I'm I'm still frozen. And sorry, it's very cold outside. It is snowing. And so, yeah, it's probably going to sneak inside here. That's okay.
It's frozen outside and it's freezing your internet too. That's okay. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
I will write a very unprofessional review for you after this, but
it's fair. It's fair.
Was it really Bad Batch? That was season 1 was the last
dude.
one? Oh, well, I'm sorry it took so long. I've been excited to have you back for this.
It's okay. I guess you didn't get my newsletters.
It's like you didn't miss this right here or something, you know? Come on.
I definitely do. Well, we've been starting the shows with our sketches, but real quick before we share our skeleton sketches, a few people posted some online that we were going to share from last week.
Oh no way! I love this.
So yeah, we have quite a few Neils that we're going to show.
Oh yeah,
Jedi Donnie has a Neil and a Grogu. That's adorable.
My boy.
He was like they needed to meet. So yeah.
Love that.
Yay.
They will.
Yeah. That's what the Dave Filoni movie is building towards.
Yeah.
100%.
Another Neil. He's got a little milkshake there. That's also Jedi Donnie.
Oh, that's good.
Well
I thought he was making a taco for a second there. So that's his boot. So that's wonderful. I love that.
He's drinking an icy. Oh,
got one from Geek Art 13.
Very Neils.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm building up. The last Neil we have here is more of a it's not a sketch, but I love it. Neil in a bathtub.
I saw this one. I love this one.
Well done, Zombie Steven.
Alex, you need to put that together for me because I wouldn't know how to do it.
I can try to figure it out. That doesn't look too complex.
Well, first, we got to get the Onyx Cinder Lego set.
I was gonna say that is the Neil minifig head.
It's the Neil's head. It's
that's solid.
I want to say that they put it on like the Max Rebo body or something, maybe or something like that.
Yeah, just any blue. Probably Max Rebo.
Yeah. Blue guy, okay. Little blue guy.
Any old blue guy.
any old blue man.
Little blue elephant guy.
And then the last sketch, this one very stylistic. I like it a lot. Smee from
wow.
Really cool.
He looks so menacing too.
He is kind of scary. Like this episode proved that a little bit. I was like, oh man, that was awesome.
I like that he's the kid's bouncer. I like that he's like they're like, you know what I mean? It's like you ain't gonna get on the anyway. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
At first, I kind of thought that Smee got on board with the kids a little too fast. But then once I realized, oh no, the little rat literally did eat his brain, I was like, I'm so on board. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a miracle that he's even walking around.
Yeah. It's like a more crazy version of Ratatouille up there or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got like little controls.
Yeah, he's got little
really
controls in there, but he's
doing
like
everything.
inside the head. Yeah.
I love that. Well, Jerry, we might have to share your sketch later.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Oh wait, you came back.
Oh, you came
Am I
out
back?
of it.
Okay. Well, I can share mine now if you'd like. If
While we have you
Yeah. Go.
while you have me.
together.
Yes, I'm very hard to get here sometimes. So, okay, so here's my sketch. And he was in the first episode, and you see him for a smidge at the beginning of this episode. But this is my all-time favorite creature design and maybe favorite character. It is the six-eyed horseman who squeezes the bug guts out onto the whatever noodles or whatever.
I was hoping this would work.
Froze.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh my God, Jay, that's great.
I don't know, and I don't know what his name is yet, but I already know that I love him. So anyway,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't think he got a name yet, but yeah, I like he actually kind of looks a little Gungan in your art
a
style,
little bit, yeah,
which is fitting.
Yeah,
very fitting.
We like those. We like those kind of. Yeah, absolutely.
I like the little apron too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say he's real cut too in my drawings.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, but anyway. You're welcome, six-eyed horse guy. You're welcome.
All right, who's next? Do I need to go next?
You go, Scotty.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is it's kind of a lot. Are you ready?
I would expect nothing less.
Okay. Long story short, I'm a teacher. I was at an educators conference today. Hold on. I was at an educators conference today, and I was watching one of the panels, and I was like, I need to get this done. Like, here we go. Sorry, I got excited. Look at this. Here we go. All right. Okay. So here it is. Okay. So you've got Kim, who I thought was named Amy all day. So you've got Amy. You've got Where is Fuzzball? And you've got Seiko, the Epcot droid. You've got the Prince symbol,
Prince logo shirt.
You've got an icy, and I think Amy was smoking cigarettes. You've got the little boxes she had stacked up. Then you've got right here the star maps, and this is the observatory she's in, the one from Majora's Mask. And you've got Fuzzball, who spray painted "Stay Bombad" on there, and Paul Stanley saying, "Stop spray painting," and there it is. It is, and
it's got a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
this is okay. Scotty cheated because I didn't know we were able to pay for people to do it for us.
Yeah. Which student did you pay?
I didn't pay a single one. Yeah,
that's from Fiverr right there. Yeah,
this is Fiverr. I just love the Prince logo. That was a late edition. I got excited, and I'm like, well, Amy would like Prince, so we're doing it.
Put it in a museum.
Amy would.
We'll do.
Amy Rose, right?
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I learned my lesson from last week, and we're going to let Molly go last. Also, I saw what she drew, and I'm not going before that. So mine is a bit of a joke, but I figured I would draw a good old Crimson Jack, but like the real Crimson Jack. For anyone that reads the Star Wars comics. And I fully just copied Will Sliney's art from the Halcyon Legacy. So shout out to him and Ethan Sachs, who brought the character into canon. That's awesome. I thought that was a fun little Easter egg.
That's a good one. I like that.
I love that.
I like that he's red too. It's kind of
I specifically had to pick the red marker.
Love the sailor.
Yeah.
The button chops. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You showed me a picture of him from the comic because I didn't know who you were talking about originally. I was like, wait, he already exists.
Oh yeah, he's from 1977.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great.
Well, Molly, wow us, please.
Yeah, wow us.
I drew Kim holding the scroll.
This is so good. What is this?
What
is this? This is so good.
Is that with felt tip pen too? This
is with a dry erase marker. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
this is so good.
I made the last minute decision to draw her with the wings open because I loved just seeing her fly down with the scroll in her
Yeah,
little
that was
paws.
awesome.
So
That was awesome.
She was really,
man.
really cool. I
There's
love
even
that.
a little light. You came
I
and
did
took
do
my
the
red
little-
pin.
Yeah, I took Alex's pen to do the light.
That's incredible.
This is really impressive. Wow.
That's very good.
Thank you. I did take a picture, so now if it gets messed up, I will have it saved.
You've got
good.
it. Wonderful.
But there's something kind of satisfying about erasing these every week. I'm like, look at this masterpiece. Erase.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. No, that's really
Well-
good, Molly.
Thank you.
Good aim.
Yeah,
I was very
them.
impressed by the wings and stuff like that because that's a lot of good detail on the wings.
I
So,
did look at a picture of an actual owl with its wings
Very
out. 'Cause
nice.
I was like, there was like a split second where you could see her flying, and I did notice that you can kind of like see her cape draped across the top of her
yeah.
wings, and I was like, that's so cool.
It's such a cool design. That's something I've loved about this show. Not to like dive too early, but just like the creature designs for me have been like the best that we've had, I think, since the Disney acquisition, in my opinion. Like it's right up my alley. Every single one. I'm just like in love with. Like I'm in love with Kim. I'm in love with Six-Eyed Horse Guy. Giant green-headed crab man, whatever that other one was that was sitting across from him. Like just all those designs are really, really, really freaking cool. And so
and all the practical effects too. Like they've really dedicated a lot of time and effort in the show for the practical stuff, which they did have extra time to like really go back and make everything look pristine since the show was delayed by so long. But I think they were always going to be dedicated to using practical effects.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they had extra time for post-production, but I think production was all just, let's get a bunch of practical puppets. They put out a really cool video the other day of just the creature design, and not just the practical, but also the visual effects, and also Phil Tippett's stop motion stuff, which we haven't seen yet. But when they show you what his big design was, what his big creature was, and I was like, that was stop motion. Like,
see, I
would
haven't
not
seen
have
it
guessed
yet.
that. Yeah.
Oh, no way. Okay, that's exciting.
So cool.
It looks rad.
Yeah,
I totally agree on the creature design, but I think that's a good segue, Jerry, into just let's talk about this episode. And first, Scotty, what did you feel about episode 3? Did you like it? Just like
pacing was rough. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. No, but in all seriousness, I thought it was excellent. The really good thing about having a week to sit with the other two allows for this third episode to have the opportunity to not throw as many punches as the first two. Because like the first two, you're just shocked by it all. You're learning names. You're trying to understand what's going on. Whereas this one, you've had a week to settle and really digest it. And then it kind of does steer you in a good direction of, okay, well, they're off the Port Borgo, and there's all kinds of cool things happening there. Obviously, the escape is awesome, but like the energy of not knowing who Jod Nanawood is that how they said it? How did they say it in the episode?
Jod Nanawood.
Nanawood. Okay, I thought it was Nanawood. Nanawood. But no. Oh, that's good, Jerry. But you can kind of take a breath and really digest what's going on better, because this episode, though it was kind of tight, and I will actually agree with you, the pacing, I feel like it can be a little bit, I think it will get better, but
I do too.
I just felt that the whole energy of this episode felt like a continuation of that Goonies feel still, and that's going to change. There's no way you're going to keep it the entire show. I think there's going to be a moment where like it does get a little bit more emotional, but I didn't feel as emotionally pulled to this one, though I do understand the parents' concerns. Like I do get that, and how weird all that is. At Aton is still very a strange place, but yeah, I don't know. There's revelations about the Old Republic, which is really weird. Was never expecting that from a show like this, and of course, Kim's observatory is one of the cooler set designs we've ever seen. Just I knew where everything was taking place the second you see the outside of it. Like you're just like, oh, okay, like this makes sense structurally. And her research was really cool. I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. I'm excited to see where it goes from here, because little by little, all the trailer footage is slowly going away, which is where I start to really enjoy where the new shows kind of thrive.
For sure. Since you brought it up, I will address that. In my review, I talked about the pacing, which I feel like pacing is not the right word, more structure of just these streaming series. But Molly and I were talking about it today on our walk and talking about how like Clone Wars will have these very clear-cut themes literally spelled out for you, or the Bad Batch, a bunch of shows do that. And at first I didn't really think about how this episode actually did have an arc about trust, specifically with Wim going from like, I trust this person. He says he's a Jedi, but he has to learn that lesson that nope, you can't trust all adults and some are going to lie to you and be selfish. So I'm like, looking back at it, I do think that there is like a full story there. I just didn't see it at first.
Yeah, we get these screeners. Full transparency, we got screeners for the first 3 episodes. We got them a month ago. And so Alex's reviews for the first 3 are a month old. And it's kind of like, as soon as we got them, we were like going to work and trying to get ahead of schedule and all that stuff. So having sat with this 3rd episode for a month now, yeah, I think you would say something's a little different now.
Definitely.
But that's just...
we watched it last night and I was like, I wish I had time to reshoot this, but we're going out of town tomorrow and we don't.
Yeah.
But there are still things about it that I'm like, I think these first 3 episodes were very much kind of the setup to the story. Now I feel like, okay, Jod's with the crew. The kids have some coordinates that may or may not get them home. But like now I feel like they can go off and have a crazy adventure every episode. I feel like the structure of the show is going to change. But
yeah, you mentioned trust. Also, we talked about KB having a little bit more in this episode, and she's learning how to trust her gut because of what Kim tells her. And so I like that little story arc for her in this episode where she's kind of like seeing through Jod's facade a little bit and she's trying to get the truth out. And I liked that bit at the end where Kim tells her to trust your gut.
Yeah, because it was I like the idea of like, you know, trust your gut and trust your heart. I think wasn't that the line, wasn't it? It was.
Well, she said use your head. I think
use your head. That's it. Yeah, that's it. But like, I don't know. I like that too, Molly.
Yeah.
Jerry, what did you think about the episode?
I loved it. I thought it was well, you know, like last week and stuff, they're setting up all this stuff that you feel like they're gonna, I mean, it's been in the trailers, so you feel like it's gonna kind of like drag on for most of the show. And then in this, you know, episode, they're just like, no, okay, here's like this answer. Here's like kind of like a little bit more of what, like, we're not really gonna put like dangle Jod being a Jedi in front of you the whole time. We're still not gonna really explain him. But, you know, just like, you know, I think I liked how kind of they're moving on to new things, but it's still just every answer just opens more interesting questions. And so I've really been digging that and stuff. And I don't know, that the escape at the beginning, super fun. I loved the whole you know, you got to go back and get our droid for us. And
yes,
like just that was like real dad energy and stuff, which I appreciated when he was like, fine, I'll go, will you stay here where it's safe and stuff, you know, kind of a thing or whatever he said. But yeah, no, that I thought that they did a really good job of kind of, I don't trust Jod, but I don't know if he's like fully complete jerk yet, you know what I mean? I don't know if he's like, if we're going full Long John Silver with him, you know, and he's gonna be like, you know, kind of a bad guy, but also kind
he cut out he went to say fast food restaurant. That was his next line.
I'll fast food, or if he works at a fast food restaurant. Yes, that was what I was gonna say. No, or if you, I don't know where I cut up, but I was just like, I don't know if he's gonna be like a real baddie or if he's just like misunderstood, like he said, I'm lost at the end there. You know?
Oh yeah, I'm
interested to see where that goes. I liked that too.
Him looking at the dead pirate was such a great moment because that's that moment of this could be me. and this may really end up being me later. And that's a huge, and I mean, we've all had realizations like that, where like, if we keep going down this path, we will end up that person if we can't change, for the better. And I don't know, he made food, but he didn't serve it to the kids first, but he still made enough food for the kids. There's something to be said about his
because there's
really
more in the pot. Yeah. He's like, it's like he's not uncaring. He's just, like, yeah, there it is. Go for it.
It's like he doesn't need these kids for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the bit. I like the bit where he sees the dead pirates, and he's kind of like looking around, and he's like, oh, are these boots my size? Like, can I wear these boots? Can I wear this jacket? And it made me think, because this episode we learned that Kim knows him as Crimson Jack, and we're like, oh, that's weird. So he's Crimson Jack, he's Captain Silvo, and he's Jod Nanawood. So for me, while I was watching that scene, I was like, he's figuring out who he's going to be next. Like, what persona am I going to take on this time?
New
Which
Captain
I
EO.
really like.
Yeah. I got excited there.
I also really like, in addition to looking at the skeleton and being like, here's where pirates end up. They kill each other over their greed. We can also jump back to, was it Pinjar Brannick, or the Alfred Molina pirate?
Oh, dude, he's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But that scene was really fun, where I'm very glad that it was just hard confirmed he is Captain Silvo from the beginning. That felt pretty obvious, but I'm glad that they were just like, don't worry, that's the truth. But also, it's like, this dude is talking about how great of a captain he was. He's like, you were the best. You were way better than Brutus currently is. But I am a pirate, and I am going to turn you in. Like, even among friends, they can't trust each other.
Did we win? That was my favorite part of that. That's the only thing I got out of that scene.
You know what? I want to know, is the prince okay? I like the droid that was like, we must protect the prince. I can't see.
So good. What did the other ones say? The other one said something funny too.
Just tried to introduce himself with a long name.
Oh yeah.
Hello, I am blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was that whole scene was great. Alfred Molina was wild, because Alden, I was literally watching the credits and texting Alden at the same exact time, and then you see Alfred Molina, and I'm like, no way, that's who that voice was. we couldn't figure it out earlier, but it's awesome. Look at, it's so good. Yeah, Charlie, if you're in a Lucasfilm production, do not trust Alfred Molina. Yes, that's amazing.
So he was in Spider-Man, which was directed by
John Watts,
who did the show. So I was like, okay.
Oh, that's a good, okay. That's pretty awesome.
So he's got him on speed dial. Maybe he was like, hey, while you're doing this, do you want to do a quick little line for us?
Heck yeah.
I'm like, get more Alfred Molina in Star Wars. Give him his own character. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I also wanted to point out Jod with the kids, especially early on. I loved all of his Jedi Force platitudes. There's just something about, I said the same thing about Haja, but someone who's pretending to be Force sensitive, really overacting and playing up that they know all about the Force and they talk about it all the time. I love that vibe of just, you know much of the Force.
Yeah. Force is strong with you.
I waited. The Force provided. Like, okay, tone it down a little.
So I do want to say one thing about the kids as characters, just real quick, because there's one moment, and look, I'll be real with y'all here. I'm a teacher, okay? I teach this age group, which I'm assuming is 6th grade. That's the vibes I get.
They're in middle school, yeah.
They're not 4th grade, they're not too baby. They're not in 5th grade. They don't cry when you fuss at them yet. We may see that. That'll probably happen at least one episode. One of them gets too overwhelmed and starts crying. But they give me 6th, 7th grade kind of vibes, right? And so my favorite moment from the whole episode is when Fern is like, we need to, Jod's like, we need to rest before we get to the next place. She goes, I'm not tired. And then the cut is her snoring. Because look, I'll be real with y'all. There'll be times where like we do field trips for work, man. And like, these kids are all, and they think they're adults. They think they're big and tough, right? And they're like, oh, we're going to do blah, blah, blah. And then like the whole bus ride home, even if it's like 30 minutes away, you got half of them sleeping on each other's shoulders. I'm like, kids are kids, man. It's beautiful. I mean, it really was a wholesome moment. Like you gotta remember, these are just kids, and Jod has not been around kids probably ever, or if not since he was a kid. So, and I'm sure SME has not been, or SM33 has not been around kids at all either, which has been, I don't know. I think doing that kind of stuff really does help secure the fact that these are children. You know what I mean? Like that's such a kid thing to have happen, such a pure, innocent thing. I'm not tired, and then
that goes well into adulthood too. I do that all the time. I'm like, I can start a movie at 9 p.m.
Right. Well, I'm like, as soon as I go to bed, then I have to wait.
Oh, Jerry.
I know. Yeah. I know. I also liked Neil's little trunk whistle that he had going on there.
Oh yeah, their little like hammock bunk beds were so cute.
Yeah, this one felt the most 80s to me. I don't know about y'all. I mean, the first two obviously are supposed to feel 80s, but like just the energy of this one was like when he's on the dinghy, and he's like looking up the side. I'm like, this is so 80s.
That was probably my biggest laugh of the episode, is them all arguing about whether or not he's using the force or string or whatever. And then in the background, you just see lasers flying. Great.
They were all Star Wars YouTubers in that moment.
Yeah,
they were recording a podcast.
Right?
Is he a Jedi or not? Let's speculate.
Yeah.
It's so really good.
Funny. This one did feel really 80s also to me, and part of that is Kim and her observatory reminded me immediately so much of Ogra from the Dark Crystal.
Oh,
she's got that like big, huge observatory, and it's got these like moving pieces in it, and just immediately, like, I was obsessed with the Dark Crystal growing up, and I immediately thought of her when I saw all of that and got so excited.
Since you said it, Gregular, thank you for the super chat, says, shout out to Molly for picking up on Kim giving off Aughra vibes. What have been some of your favorite 80s homages or pastiches in the show so far?
Well, I know mine. Mine's
Fuzzball.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. Where is he? Where is he, man?
Because we were joking before the show that all the Fuzzballs that were freed, they're going to come and save the day in episode 8. It'll be like, the Eagles are coming. But it's just a bunch of Fuzzballs.
He's just like,
I'm telling you, he got a database entry. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I love that it is. He has a name. It's Fuzzball. It doesn't have his species, but.
Oh, that's mine. That's a great question though, because there's a lot in this show. And Alex, I know you mentioned Gremlins before we recorded too. Like I mean, could it happen? No, I think it. Well, that's in there.
We watched Goonies right before we watched Skeleton Crew, and then when we're watching these episodes, I'm of course trying to write down Easter eggs and stuff. And I came up to Molly and I was like, I know someone said something about Gremlins. Which character said it? Which episode? Molly was like, that was in the Goonies. Right. Okay.
I wouldn't count it out yet. We may still get an homage to Gremlins at some point. But the Dark Crystal one for me, and the very quick Archimedes from Sword in the Stone moment that Kim had saying, what?
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh my god, if I ever got a tattoo of an animated character, it would be Archimedes from Sword in the Stone. I love that tiny owl.
Jerry, what do you think? Favorite 80s homage?
It's just the creatures feel very 80s inspired as well and stuff, and that really is feeding me, because I grew up with all those movies, like E.T. and Star Wars, obviously, and Ghostbusters and all that kind of stuff. That's all the stuff that I love, and so they're really paying a lot of homage to that era. I mean, we got that. I can't wait for that giant crab. That we know that, especially, I couldn't wait for it to begin with, but just like now that we know that it's even like stop motion and stuff like I just am excited for all that kind of stuff. That just gets me really pumped. So
yeah. Now that we know Phil Tippett came in and did something
insane,
that's so cool.
I do think so that might take my spot when we get there. Just seeing it in that little video that they released, my jaw dropped.
I didn't see this video.
God,
what are you talking about?
It's so good.
So good.
It just came out on YouTube today. It's like a creature something.
Yeah, it's just about the creatures and the effects and all that stuff.
Right.
The creatures.
You want to pull it up? We'll watch it live.
You can search through it real quick while I think my favorite 80s thing right now is just the ET vibes. I kind of miss that they don't have their bikes. Maybe they got him in the ship real quick because I
They
really
did. I think they did. Yeah.
did they? I hope they did because I want a nice scene of them like kicking ass and taking names, riding around on their little bicycles with the tassels and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be so
Dude,
good.
That thing is stop motion. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
And I like it cuts to Phil Tippett and he's just sitting there like, yeah, what?
He's got his
I do
little
this
cut off
every day.
denim vest.
It's this guy. It's that one you see in the big old crab fella. That
So
is
cool.
crazy. Yeah, no, this show's awesome. I love this show.
Yeah, man. It's got all the right vibes. And yeah, the ET vibes are fantastic. I love
That's
it.
right.
I also wanted to talk about, speaking of like Kim's observatory moon, love the music.
Oh, dude, the theremin, though.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Thank you. Thank you.
Theremin,
I was gonna bring that up too if no one else did, because that was so fun to have. Like it's like classic space vibes.
Yes.
Stuff. It was like a 1960. That almost went back to the 60s kind of feel.
Mhm.
And it was just that was a lot of fun.
Scotty, did you say you have one?
I could tell I had one growing up, and then I lost it in a flood that happened. But that thing was so much fun because you would go, and like you can just like, and I mean, you can look up videos of people playing them, and it's like an incredible instrument, That being said, like I knew it instantly, and I'm like, oh my god, I feel like I'm watching a really terrible like B movie from like the 60s or like the late 50s. It's just such a cool sound. You never hear it in Star Wars, and to hear it in that scene really kind of makes sense for the characters and the vibe.
It made that moon and observatory feel otherworldly.
Yeah,
that moon
to them, the moon, which looks very similar to our moon for one thing, which was really cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just like that, that otherworldly, just alien vibe was very, very fun.
Is that supposed to be Polis Massa?
I don't think so.
Is it?
I thought I read somewhere that it was called something or like that or something similar, but that was like an asteroid, wasn't it?
I thought it was like a moon on that gas giant, but I have not looked up to see if it had a name.
Polis Massa is an asteroid, according to MC Lego Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That must have been wrong, what I read. But I do agree that music made that moon look weird. Like it made it's hard to do that in Star Wars, right? Like make a planet look otherworldly because we see all different kinds of planets and moons and stuff. So I love that
Kim's Wikipedia page is absurd. Like already there are so many words about this owl. I'm like, oh, that's amazing that someone already did that.
That's amazing. I love that. One thing too, like really thinking about it, that may be our very first time we've ever gotten like a moon with an atmosphere in Star Wars, because they're breathing. Bad Batch had it. Bad Batch had it. But to see it like in live action and to see like the silhouette of them walking, that was wonderful.
I think the fact that it looked so much like just the regular moon that we have here is what made it feel so weird too.
Yes.
Because it felt like I was watching like, Lance Armstrong and them, but they're not bouncing. They're just like walking. It's just like normal. They're just like walking like out of the ship. And so it felt very, it added to the flavor.
Kind of had a 2001 feel, like honestly. I didn't think about that. Like it does have like the 2001, like, when they walk up to the monolith kind of thing. Like it looked kind of weird. I don't know. I want to get more of that in Star Wars. I think we're overdue,
I do like, I think the variety of environments and places this show will go, just based on the trailers, I think there are at least 3 more that we haven't seen. So that's what I'm kind of hoping, that every episode is going to be like new planet, new adventure on their way home. But I think visually this show just looks so good.
Yeah. But like Molly said earlier, having a lot of time to sit on it, really helps. Like, and I know everyone a dog on Kenobi because I loved Kenobi. And we watched it in celebration together. Like it was an amazing thing. But there's still moments now where I look back and I'm like, God, if you just gave him like a year or just like 6 more months, like it would look as crisp, because Skeleton Crew looks crisp. It looks real. Like the moment of them taking off from the moon. Like I'm like, this legitimately looks like real life. Like this looks amazing.
And And we're kind of bouncing around, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But like just that escape sequence, that is like the childhood fantasy of Jod being like, okay, you fly the ship. It's what I wish Smuggler's Run actually was.
Oh wow.
Oh
like,
where he puts you in like your specific little like cockpit area.
Yeah, the Millennium Falcon ride is fun, but like I want to be in the gunner seat. Like,
yeah,
of course,
I want to do what Wim did.
Mm-hmm. They're so excited shooting at him, and they don't know. They don't know. They think they're his goons, whatever he says.
Yeah, like, they don't know what X-wings are. Yeah,
no, and it's so.
Which was another cool reveal.
Yeah,
there, like she starts talking about. They mentioned Alderaan, and she's like, "Oh, missed the war, did you? What war?" Which we kind of all figured that it was something like that, right? But
yeah,
I thought that was some really cool reveal and stuff there, especially with the the planets. That she was talking about, all the crown jewel planets.
That's a good segue into that. I definitely want to talk about the jewels of the Old Republic. First of all, what are your thoughts on how old of a republic are we talking? Is it?
Dude, I'm thinking before High Republic old. Like I am now. I'm
starting to think that too.
Because last week I was like, those are datteries, and we heard Qui-Gon talk about them, and like those are things we've seen before and heard before, but oh my god, like this is something different.
That's my hope as well.
Yeah.
Finally getting it in canon. You know, and another thing too is like the whole, you know, them not realizing a war had taken place was really cool, but like the Alderaan line was the line that kind of settled that. You know what I mean? I was like, oh my god, like I mean, they wouldn't know Alderaan was destroyed, and it's one of the bigger planets in the galaxy. And they're like, we're aware of Coruscant. We know about Alderaan. And it's like, you don't, though.
Do you?
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
I mean, those were founding members of the Old Republic, so they would know.
I love that Kim... Oh, go ahead, Molly. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just going to say, I love that they call it the Republic. Like, they don't know old, high, new Republic. It's just the Republic.
Yeah. There's
just
no
one, right?
No titles. Yeah. No, I love that Kim reacts like me whenever someone says great work or something in normal conversation because of the High Republic. So anyway, I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah.
I like the debate that it could be the Galactic Republic at some point that they hit it more recently, but I did want to bring up the cool looking scroll.
Look at that.
Because Molly noticed some fun things while I was trying my best to once again translate all the Arabesh.
Did you, Alex?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess. Like, it's not like the storybooks from last week where it was all spelled out. This is a little bit more like Lorem Ipsum-y.
Oh, really? Is it?
Not quite. Like, there are words that you can make out, but I'll do my best to read some of them. Like it says
the first little bit is interesting. The rest doesn't make any sense.
It starts out with like, and the worlds withered, and the families were something because a lot of it's missing, and the people were something, but as the jewels something, peoples of many, blah blah blah, republic. Like you can make out words here or there, but the more I read, the weirder it got, and the less legible. Like it just started to go into nonsense. There was one that mentions a wand, the wand, so maybe the worlds that were open, republic, closed, and hidden. Like there are words you can make out that are very interesting, but it's not enough to piece things together.
This is interesting. Some of it might be mirrored.
Yeah,
it is. Like the bottom section is all written backwards for some reason, which I don't know why they did that.
Okay, so they confirmed that Aton was part of this crown jewel, right? But they said the other planets had been destroyed. So that's really interesting. Because does that mean? I mean, you know, Aton was thought to be destroyed too, or just didn't exist at all. So, like, is it in theory those other planets could also exist in some capacity? I mean, that's what I'm convinced of.
So I'll bring the image back up because Molly was looking at the stuff that actually I think matters while I was trying to look at the.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, like which one of these is supposed to be Aton, but the one at the bottom has kind of a barrier around it.
Look at that. Look at that.
Little, circles and dots, and it looks like maybe all the rest of those circles were the ones that got destroyed, but because Aton has the barrier, that one was going to be safe.
If you look at the planet in the middle, it kind of has the same design as the one in the very middle, and there are 2 lines connecting it. So I think the one in the middle is supposed to be Aton, and the other 8 are gone. And then there's a barrier around that last one.
So like maybe the bit at the bottom that they're like holding or putting their hands up to is just like alluding to the middle planet.
And then you also pointed out those like kind of gold triangles coming off of it. Look a whole lot like I've got a picture from the trailer.
They look like the little things coming off of that.
Look at this, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Holy, you should explain this stuff. I'm just...
I wish I could explain it, but I'm just making crazy connections. But yeah, that could not be a connection, or it could just be a similar shape. I don't know.
So one thing too, I always thought, as since of last week, I thought it was a big cloud structure. I never put the connection that it was a nebula. And for those that don't know, nebulas are like it covers a whole span of a galaxy, or it can cover just a planet or just a star system. So like the idea of it being a nebula, no wonder no one want to travel through it. I'm sure it messes up ships. I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy stuff to a nebula that you wouldn't want to. So like it being a nebula is super interesting. Yeah, that review was better. And then they even mentioned, didn't they mention like the red lights? Didn't Neil mention that? Or am I going crazy?
He didn't mention, I don't think he mentioned the red lights. He mentions the swirls and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, he says it looks cloudy, but the red lights are interesting because last week I was theorizing that maybe the nebula itself or the barrier itself is natural and has always been there, and the little red lights are like bits that they've added to like enhance it in a way, or like
try to keep people there.
Yeah, like that, or like some kind of like alarm system, so they'll know if something comes through or goes out.
Yeah, I'm really curious. Or like, I still wonder if the nebula is kind of man-made, so to speak. That they're like, we got to protect this planet. Let's create a nebula around it. But that seems difficult.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Right. Oh, Amaranth there says the Onyx Cinder got through okay, and I'm wondering if there is something, because the ship obviously crashed there a long time ago. There's got to be, maybe there's something special about the ship that can get through the nebula as well, or something. I don't know, because they did get out very easily.
Yeah.
I do like that idea. I mean, I feel like there's more to learn about the ship and whose it was. Maybe SM-33 will talk about it at some point. But how did it even get there? I think
my understanding, or my theory right now, is it crashed because there was like a mutiny on the ship, or like the captain looked like he got stabbed. So, and then SM-33 was like holding on to a little lever latch thingy. So it looked like things were not going well inside that ship, and that probably led it to crash. Yeah.
Wasn't he holding down the power too, or something? Like, because when he moved, the power came on, didn't it? Or
it closed the door. Yeah.
Closed the door. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if they knew it. Like when they crashed, was Aton already the planet of eternal treasure? Or did they bring the treasure there or something? Yeah, I'm very curious.
Well, you got to think there was a lot of vegetation that grew over it. So, like, I don't think it was the last 50 years. I mean, they had trees. They had, like, a lot of... And unless it did crash and, like, got, slowly buried over that stuff.
Or the supervisor, like, said, let's bury it.
There you go. And that... Okay, so we just kind of breezed that over real quick. I want to talk about that. That opening was so good at, like, building the suspense without taking away from the kids at all. I kind of really, like, instead of doing this parallel, like, we'll jump back and forth, they just start off with that title card, then the rest episodes of the kids. That is a brilliant way to do it in TV. Because, in most movies, you have to figure out how to balance the adult storyline, or Stranger Things. There's whole episodes of Stranger Things that are just the adults. You know what I mean? Like, which are great. Don't get me wrong. I like that. But I also like how they can do it with a title break. It's a lot cleaner. I don't know.
Yeah, and we got to learn an interesting little tidbit about KB in that beginning part too. So that it sounds like she's got some kind of life monitor in her headpiece, and one of her moms said that, like, she has like a medical, what did they call it?
I can't remember.
Life-threatening medical condition or something.
Condition. Yeah, like she has a medical condition, and maybe that's why she has the monitor on. So I don't know what that could be. I'm wondering if they're gonna have her be like diabetic or have like a crazy allergy, or maybe it's just asthma and they're helicopter moms. I don't know.
That's like I really like KB, and I wish that I feel like this medical condition might really play into who she is. And the other three kids, I'm like, I know what each of you wants, and KB just didn't get that moment in episode 1 with her family to illustrate what it is that she is going to learn out of this adventure.
Sure.
And so the medical thing, I'm like, okay, I feel like it could be that she just wants some independence, that she might have helicopter moms, and she's like, I can survive on my own, like I can take care of myself, you don't need to hover. But that hasn't really been like explored yet. So
and maybe
I hope it does.
Maybe that plays into how she wants to know how everything works. Because she might not be able to understand why she doesn't work the same as everybody else. So then she becomes obsessed with figuring out how other things work.
So and look, that's a really important thing too. And I want to speak to this as a teacher, like, and I know Jerry, I mean, like, you as a parent, like, when a kid has a medical emergency, it's pretty intense. And like, if you want to bring intensity to a show, I mean, they literally can do something as small as like a diabetic seizure. Like, I mean, not to make light of anything, or like to even say that's something you can build drama off of, but like, you can, like when Will Byers and Stranger Things Season 2 would like go into those seizure fits, and like that was a huge like freak out moment for the kids. And like, even, and like to show humanity, I mean, like, I've been there for when the kids choke before. Like, it's like super intense. And like kids, like at one field day this past year, a kid going on the slide had a seizure as she was going on the slide. It just overstimulated. She, obviously went to like a seizure fit and like went into the water. Another 5th grade kid saved her from the water and pulled her out the water. And like all those kids at field day were sobbing. I was freaked out. They were all freaking out. But like, if you do want to build drama, if you do want to bring intensity to it, come to find out this kid's got a medical condition none of the other kids know. That is a brilliant way, and that is a very real life way to bring drama into this story. Like, we need to get her back home because she is sick and dying. You know what I mean? Like, that elevates it to a much different level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just does.
It's a good way for for this show, since I doubt there's going to be a ton of other like big, crazy, scary life or death situations. And we were saying early on that we don't think any of these main characters are going to die or be killed off. It's not maybe that kind of show, but yeah, to give us a sense of urgency and fear for what's going to happen. I think her having like a medical emergency is a great way to convey that.
That could also be a good character moment for Jod or Silva or whatever we're calling him. But like, if he like all of a sudden, like, I don't,
oh my God,
I want to take care of this kid. I don't want a thing bad to happen to them. And now he's like more connected with them as a group, and they can trust him a little bit more. I could see that.
It adds a whole other layer, because that's a difficult thing to do. Like, even when it's not your kid, and you've got to become that person's parent in that moment and think as a person, like, I need to save this child's life. Regardless if I have any connection to them at all, that is my responsibility. I am a supervisor of these kids, even if he doesn't want to be. Even if I don't want to be, I still you have to all of a sudden turn that mode on. And some people don't know how to do that, and that's a scary thing. Right. And it really could be interesting. I don't know. I don't mean to derail it with the fear of a medical emergency, but
and I mean, and maybe that's you go back to that Long John Silver trope. Long John really likes I keep want to call him Will Turner, but that's the wrong pirate.
That's the wrong pirate. Will also, yeah.
But he really likes the kid in that story. Pardon me, English teachers and literature from high school. But like, maybe that's because it seems like he's already kind of getting a little bit of that with KB.
Jim Hawkins, is that?
Jim Hawkins is it is Jim Hawkins. I feel really bad for not knowing that now. But anyway,
I didn't know it.
Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean movies have poisoned me in the best way. So, like I feel like there could be a little kind of connection happening with Jod and KB. I just, no one really, I think, expects KB to be like, we're all expecting him to connect with Wim, I think.
Right.
Yes.
The Wim, I think, is like the big main character. I mean, it's all the kids and stuff, but like Wim was the one we kind of started with. He's the one who feels like Elliot, who feels like, all these like kids from these 80s movies and stuff. And I don't know. I think it would be cool if KB, because I'm really digging KB. I'm really digging that character. I'm digging the way that
he's gone.
I lost him.
Oh, he came back.
She works at a fast food restaurant. No. Okay. So I think that she sees the world in a different way, and almost a more pragmatic way than the other kids do. And I think it would be interesting for their.
Every time we say he's gone, he comes right back. So
every time, don't say anything.
Yeah, but then she can work in a fast food. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I'm just done. I tried to build on what Scotty was saying, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I think that would make a good, I think that would be very compelling. So.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be.
I think we are going to definitely see Jod evolve and hopefully become a better person. Because right now, he used these kids to get off Port Borgo and is just using them to get to the next step for his own selfish reasons. He wants to check out this secret planet and that might have treasure on it. But along the way, I think each of these kids are going to be teaching Jod important lessons and helping him grow and realize that he should be a better person.
Yeah.
And
I'm
excited to see that.
Shocked if this series ended and he was like, nope, I'm still a piece of crap. Didn't change a lick.
Well, it's like he could still be a pirate, but he could be a pirate with a heart of gold, doing good things instead of conning people.
Yeah, definitely. To stick with the adults a little bit, let's talk about what they're analyzing. Because the kids kind of make a little realization that they study money.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird.
It does remind me of Severance in a weird way. I'm like, what are they doing?
Yeah, what are they doing, right? And I agree. The whole idea of them looking at the money and they're like, what do they even do? None of us care to know. And Wim still is like, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me. It's probably boring. You know what I mean?
It's like it has something to do with money. And that's I do kind of picture them at the Severance office, just like doing this weird thing that they're like, what does this even mean? Or does it matter? But they just do it because that's what they're told to do.
Yeah. God. In our last stream, I know Lacey had the idea that maybe this planet is like some kind of banking treasury planet. And because people call it a treasure planet, it could work kind of
that's cool.
Along those lines where, maybe whoever's in charge here knows about all the treasure on this planet and they're having everyone count it every day. I don't know.
Well, it could be that, like maybe I think Lacey suggested that they let it leak out, or that it could be that, I mean, hell, we don't know how the First Order got all of its funding. Like, they could be siphoning off funds that are like not valuable to them. It's lunch money for Wim, but off-world, you let one of those dataries out.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Since this was like a jewel of the Old Republic, maybe because this one was the safest behind the barrier, they're like, this is our bank planet. We put all our money here and it's safe.
But it is interesting that we've seen like a literal little treasure vault with booby traps and stuff. So they still have fun with it.
Yeah, of course. And look, I know there's a couple other shots of Wendell and Wynn's mom talking. Like there's a few other things that like we haven't seen on Aton yet. And I'm honestly, that's the part of the story that I think none of us expected. like that the planet itself is kind of the focus of the story. You know what I mean? Like we always they just get off the planet, they go on an adventure and come back. Oh, everything's okay. No, it's like there is some. Yeah, it is the MacGuffin. That's right, Jerry.
Yeah, and we started off there. Yeah, we started off on the treasure planet, and now we have to find a map and work our way back.
I do think, like, from a writing perspective, that is so good that the kids get lost and then inadvertently tell all the pirates about treasure, and it's all a race to just get home.
And for them, they're all like, "Oh, there's nothing special about Aton. It's literally the most boring place ever." But they're gonna learn that it's literally a treasure planet, and then figuratively, like, it was the treasure all along.
We didn't talk about the pirates at all, but that whole escape, like with Brutus walking up and like doing the whole Kenobi shot and then just not moving when everything's whipping around, and that was awesome.
I did the fuel line. I was like, oh, it's Force Awakens again. But once they like shoot off into hyperspace and the fuel line whips back, I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
this is awesome, man.
KB was like, isn't it bad to just go out into hyperspace while being attached to something? And it just like
isn't it dangerous?
Back and
what if like just the whole station went into hyperspace with them?
Oh no. That was so cool. And Brutus
was so cool.
So freaking cool.
Yeah, I love Brutus.
Just
his voice design is gnarly, and I love it.
I have a hard time hearing him a little bit, by the way. I had to like go back after the episodes over and like, what exactly did that do? It's like it's pretty cool.
I will be interested to see how the pirates get back on their trail. Maybe they also know about Kim. I don't know.
Maybe that Thielen girl is like, they said they were from Aton, so if you can find it, that's where they'll be.
Yeah, and maybe they would also go to visit Kim. Speaking of Kim, I just remembered the first time we watched it, there was a small part of me that thought maybe he was going to see Dr. Aphra.
Oh just my God.
The way he described this friend who knows a bunch about like old relics and might stab us in the back.
We still don't know who the woman was that was on the like.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
Comms. I was like, maybe.
How many of y'all thought it was Carson Teva? I was so
definitely.
They were
in the X-Wing.
Oh yeah, when they're showing the side shot. I'm like,
I was waiting for it to be him or Trapper Wolf or something. You know what I mean? Yes. I was like waiting for that cowboy hat to pop out of there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I would have been happy if that had been Carson, because he's been in just about everything so far. I hope he's in this to give just like a little exposition for what else is going on in the galaxy.
I was so hoping for it, but it's okay.
I think I saw someone saying that maybe he was shooting Avatar at the time. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
I do love that Carson Teva is like the one beat cop who's at every important thing though that's happening. So
he's like, I got to do everything around here.
Yeah. He's always there.
I am. Yeah, fingers crossed for Carson in this show.
Yeah, this was a great episode, and I genuinely, obviously we all get excited, when a new Star Wars stuff comes out, but like it is nice, and I don't want to talk poorly about other Star Wars shows. That's not who I am, and I'm not going to compare Star Wars shows because it's not fair. But when you take a second and think about it, like it's so refreshing, like to see this universe from the point of view of a child, right? Like I've been wanting this probably all my life subconsciously, and I didn't realize it, like Rey seeing grass for the first time was really beautiful. Rey feeling the rain for the first time was really beautiful. And we got to see that. But like from truly a child's perspective, this has been an absolute joy, and it's only going to get better, as they go to weirder and wackier places. And, I do think that Kim is going to definitely show back up. You don't make a design like that not to pull back on it later, or even to the line of whenever you need me, you let me know.
Yeah. I want Kim to, because that's one of my, again,
Jerry wants shrimp poppers. That's what he wants. He wants to get shrimp poppers from a Long John Silver's.
I'm back. I'm
Nice
back. I'm back here. Real professional, I know.
It's just
it adds a sternly worded email.
It adds a lot of anticipation for what it is you're going to say.
Yeah, everyone's like,
we're all waiting.
Yeah. Well, no, Kim's one of my favorite designs. Besides, it's just like every design is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think, Anyway, but Kim is just like that's one of those like Yoda designs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Just like all of the behind the scenes, the crew, everything just feels like it's really firing on all cylinders to make this come together. Which again, maybe the extra time really helped.
We talked about this the other day, Alex, about how this younger generation of Star Wars fans needs to be fed. Like
right.
Original trilogy, prequel trilogy, kids the same age as these kids in the show had all kinds of stuff. They had books, they had comics, they had toys, and in the prequel trilogy they had the Clone Wars. And then the sequel trilogy kids got nothing. And eventually, we got into Disney Plus and the streaming shows, but it's so nice to have a show from the perspective of this younger audience and see them kind of just living in this galaxy and see them learning lessons. And I didn't realize how much we needed a story like this until we got it.
Well, I think it's important to make new fans with Star Wars and to give some like 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds like, hey, here is a series starring you and the adventure you could have in Star Wars. And so I hope that they continue Neil and Wim and Fern and KB's stories, whether it's books or comics or whatever, or a second season. Like let the kids who love this show keep growing up with it. And I'm glad that adults have also embraced it.
It's very nice. I love talking about this with you too. This has been awesome.
As long as they can fix the pacing, we'll be great. It'll be great.
Just stop this.
Stop. What are we doing?
And you know what?
Come on, let's get it together. Let's just get it together, okay? Yeah.
I'm just joshing you, Alex.
I say one thing, and everyone jumps all over me.
Mr. Positive.
Hey, man. Yeah.
He likes everything.
Yeah. The internet.
The internet.
Okay, well, I was going to ask one more question before we get to plugs and let y'all enjoy the rest of your night. But where do you think they're headed next? Or not necessarily where, but do you think they actually have the coordinates to add Aton? Or
I totally think that that Amy, gave them the wrong stuff. Like I'm convinced, like, oh yeah, like because she knows what's his name, Crimson Beard, what they call him, I forgot what they call him,
Crimson Jack.
Will Turner.
How dare you forget my name?
I know.
Hey,
so, Crimson Jack, right? So like she knows he's already like a swindler, he's a scoundrel, so like why not fake data points or give him the coordinates somewhere near it, not exactly it, like kind of throw him through a loop. But she doesn't want to inconvenience the kids either. So like, I don't know. I don't think that was the true coordinates. It could be in the area,
or maybe it popped out like a bunch of options.
Yes.
Send them on a wild
one. It's just like
wild bantha chase.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm curious to see how they get delayed, or I mean, it might be that the ship just keeps
falling apart.
Yeah, I do love that every time you see it in space, it's just like swirling in dirt.
Stuff is falling off of it. Yeah,
it's like what's the Pigpen from?
I was gonna say it's the Pigpen of Star Wars ships. Yeah,
it's the Pigpen ship that's just always got a cloud of dust.
It shoots into hyperspace and leaves dust behind him. Like that's such a great little detail.
I kind of like that this ship is not like a sexy ship. You know what I mean? Like the N1 Starfighter, even the Razor Crest is kind of cool looking. You know what I mean? Where this ship is like, you're right, the dirty, Pigpen ship, and like even John was like, "No way, you flew on that, dog." Yeah, there's no way. It's so cool.
Maybe we'll get to see Han Solo see that, and he's like, "Now that is a piece of junk."
Yeah.
And then he shoots off into hyperspace.
Yeah. That's your favorite kind of cameo, That's your favorite.
Yeah, one that
Baba,
really distracts you from what's going on and is completely unnecessary.
Yeah, just a couple more legacy characters in there is what we need. That's what we need.
Yeah, I agree, Jerry.
I do love how standalone this is.
I agree, though. 100%. Right now it is, and it might not be. You never know. But as of right now, it's really nice.
It reminds me of like season 1 of Mando, where I was like, "This is great. Just new characters, new stories, doing weird things every episode."
It's cameos, but it's not cameos, right? It's like cameos of characters that we know from other stuff, or characters are just very, very similar to what characters we knew growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will let the two of you head out, enjoy the rest of your night. But before you go, tell everyone about Bombadcast and where they can find you.
Don't worry, Jerry.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I was gonna cut out or not there. So okay, all right. What were you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say we're the Bombadcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I love Alex and Molly. We're hanging out with them in Japan.
Thank you for having us.
It's gonna be so much fun. But all that being said, we go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. We do a variety of stuff. Right now, of course, just like everyone else we know, we're covering Skeleton Crew. But we mostly look at the more niche and weird things of Star Wars. We were recently on Force Sitter celebrating Jar Jar Binks, which is one of our favorite recordings we've done in a very long time. Definitely go check that out. Why we love Jar Jar Binks. And of course, we do all kinds of stuff. One thing I'm very proud of is I did a really deep analysis of midichlorians. So if anyone has any skepticism or any more interest in midichlorians, go to our channel, the Bombadcast on YouTube, or our podcast feed. Our midichlorian video essays on there. And it's 2 hours. It's a 2-hour lecture. It's legit. It pulled from, I think, 28 sources. It is college level.
It's college level course on midichlorians.
You got your doctorate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I submitted a panel to Celebration, and I'm praying that'll go through because it's the following one, and I'm going to buy a like $1,000 suit, and I am going to look like Tim Cook on. I'm going to be a king on that stage. But no, all that being said, we're very happy to be on here. It's been awesome. And yeah, if y'all haven't checked us out yet, we're very fun. All of our previous live streams on our channel as well, and we have a really good time.
Yeah.
So
we talk about Star Wars. Sometimes we watch videos about how to cook eggs. It's great.
Yep. Yeah. Good variety.
So many ways to cook eggs.
Oh, and you know what? Y'all got to stay Bombad. I didn't even say that. You do have to stay Bombad.
Yeah,
you have to stay Bombad.
If you don't say it, will we even remember?
Yeah. Nope.
Who's
going to tell me to stay Bombad?
We got to say it.
Spaceship falls in the woods. Does any? And no one's around. And buries itself. There's a lesson in there. Somewhere.
There is.
There's a lesson. I can't believe that I stayed on this long without breaking out. All right. Anyway.
Yes. But no, thank you both so much. We love you.
Thank you
very much. It's been so
Have
much
a great
fun.
rest of your night.
Thanks, y'all. Stay Bombad. Stay Bombad.
Stay Bombad. Got him.
They are fun.
Oh man, I was gonna say we're going to this cabin trip this weekend with some of our friends, and we're doing like a PowerPoint presentation bit one of the nights. I should just put on the midichlorian video and see how long people will watch it.
Yeah. You're like, I didn't prepare anything, but I did get this 2-hour video on midichlorians, and you'll have to watch it now.
It's not quite a first date watch. It's like a second or third date watch, you know?
Honestly, that's pretty bold.
Yeah, I know.
But that's our friend Ashton used to break out Fellowship of the Ring like date 1 just to be like, this is the vibe. You can get with it or
take it or leave it.
Yeah. But we are going to stick around and answer some of your questions in chat. Our first one here is from Will of the Force. Thanks so much. Seeing Star Wars through the eyes of kids is so refreshing and nostalgic. Skeleton Crew is such a win for Star Wars. Season 2 win. We kind of talked about exactly this and why I do think a season 2 is important. I was advocating for that just Tuesday. And then people were telling me to like slow my roll.
Whoa, Alex.
Yeah, they're
you
like,
don't even like the show.
Yeah, you're praising it too much. And then today everyone was like, I'm giving people whiplash, I guess.
That could be true, yeah. Again, that review was a few weeks old. But yeah, now that we know that the people who made this show have a plan for a season 2, doesn't mean it's going to happen, doesn't mean they're going to try to get that done. It just means if for whatever reason a season 2 gets like greenlit, then they already have something in mind to do.
Yeah. I'll definitely be curious to see how the viewership is, but even like my argument in the video is regardless of viewership, it is a well-made show. It's a well-received show.
Mm.
I think it would be smart to just invest regardless of whether or not it's doing Mandalorian numbers,
Right.
and let the kids who fell in love with these characters continue to fall in love with the characters.
Yes. And it kind of sucks that, like, in order to get those kinds of ratings, they got to throw in a crazy cameo somewhere in the season for people, for like mainstream media to be like, to pay attention to it.
Yeah, it does seem like that, but I kind of talked about Apple TV and how they don't like market their shows at all. Like no one talks about For All Mankind, a show that we love to watch. It's going into its 5th season. It's getting a spinoff, and I'm like, it does not do Star Wars numbers at all.
Well,
but
okay, here's
Apple's
the thing,
like,
though.
just keep it going.
They do talk about the Apple shows in award season, and then those shows win all these awards. That's when people are like, wait, what is this show? Where do I watch it?
Yeah, but I still don't think they do great numbers.
No, I don't think so either.
Like compared to Star Wars or Marvel shows or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, I appreciate that level of investment.
Yes.
And
hopefully the numbers and the ratings pick up as the show moves forward.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And also, yeah, Charlie the Unicorn says Apple has a mountain of cash to burn. That is also true and valid.
Very true.
Last week I accidentally read all of the questions, so I was gonna
I was gonna let you do it again because my voice is going.
Oh, okay. If you want a voice break, that's fine. Molly's been drinking tea all day.
I gotta pee like a racehorse.
Well, Donline Dude doesn't have a question about that. He asked, does anyone else think that there might be some kind of super weapon or schematics from the Jedi Sith War buried on Aton?
I don't know that this is going to get into the Jedi Sith War at all. I do think maybe we could get some Jedi lore at some point.
It's interesting
to do with Aton, but I don't know.
Yeah, just like seeing Aton's relationship with the Jedi, where they know about them, but it seems like it's more in their own stories, in their own mythology, the same way we know about the Knights of the Round Table. Like we know that knights existed back then, but no one would say like, I want to be a knight as their job today. So it's like that's kind of what Wim did, and everyone's laughing at him. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And now, like we're talking about cameos, and I'm like, I do hope Wim gets to meet a Jedi someday.
Yeah,
that would be nice for him.
Well, he will hopefully at least learn more about them. He will be upset to learn about Order 66, right. I'm sure, but at least he can learn more about them and maybe not keep them on such a pedestal as he does now. I don't know.
I'm not expecting them to have any like schematics. I do think that the treasure is treasure and or like just their money or their currency. Like, yeah, I'm not necessarily thinking that there's a weapon hidden there, but there is something sinister going on with the supervisor, so I won't rule it out either.
I still like the idea that the droids are in charge, or like there's a droid in charge of all this, and their objective was to keep this planet safe and hidden, and it just went from there, and it became like all this planet cared about. I don't know. That's just like a crackpot.
I mean, yeah, you and you're not the only one. People have been talking about like the Wizard of Oz of it all, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that image, I think I shared it a week or two ago, but of them kind of like all looking up, and it was a very meeting the wizard looking moment. We didn't know what they were looking at, but it looked like they were back on at Aton.
Yeah. So I do think that they're building up to this supervisor, and there's going to be something to learn there. And yeah, I wonder if it was meant to be sinister or if it was meant to always be like a good thing and it just kept on going forever.
Yeah, it could be another like SM-33 situation where it's a droid and it's really, really old and there's a rat living in its head eating its memory core and like it's just like keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting. Will of the Force also asks, so how old do we think SM-33 is? How long was he powered down for? Or is it a situation like the High Republic droid in Jedi Survivor? I mean, I don't think that's that far off, but I think he is way older than Z. Z's like 200 years old.
Yeah, Z's High Republic, so this has to be even older. And you mentioned like he's got cables like coming out of the back of his head, so it's like it's to give that look of like he's still very much dial up. He hasn't gotten on the Wi-Fi train yet.
You can see these big thick cables coming out of his head, which I think is a good way to show that he's older. Like C-3PO's got most of his cables inside his body except for his little midriff that he likes to show off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think SM-33 is at least 1,000 years old. Part of me is just like, that's me crossing my fingers because I want some old like capital O, capital R, Old Republic connections. And I will point out the subtitles had that capitalized when Kim said the jewels of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I hope.
I'm excited to learn more. They're giving us little breadcrumbs though, and I love that.
Power Rangers Explained, thanks for the super chat, just says, Major League Baseball breaking news, Juan Soto, I know some of these words.
15 hours /
15 hours, 765 million to the Mets.
Was he sold to a different, I don't know what this means, baseball?
This is how a baseball fan probably felt when they read Jeremy Allen White to play Jabba the Hutt's son, Rada the Hutt. Like that feels like the kind of gibberish headline that someone who doesn't know Star Wars would be
it's a 15-year contract.
Oh, okay.
I guess. I appreciate you letting chat know that news. It means nothing to us. But thank you.
Tommy 3 says, if it's an Old Republic planet, does that dismiss all the Palpatine theories? Palpatine theories.
What Palpatine theories?
I have no idea. I have not seen any Palpatine theories surrounding Skeleton Crew. But it wouldn't be a Star Wars story without a Palpatine theory.
Do people think that Jod is a Palpatine clone or something? No way Palpatine was that hot when he was young.
I don't know. I think Matt Smith was supposed to play him.
No, I don't want Palpatine anywhere near this. Get out of here.
I mean, they even straight up said, I think John Watts in an interview said, Palpatine's not in this. I think he was like, there aren't any like big legacy cameos or anything. It's not like some character is going to be secretly Palpatine the whole time. Unless he's misdirecting us completely, but
nah.
I have not been looking into theories about this show, but I don't think or want Palpatine will be involved.
Nah.
This is off topic, but I did want to answer it real quick. It's a little, Skeleton Crew has some Indiana Jones vibes to it.
You did get a couple of questions about this on other social media.
Well, Eric Elliott wants to know if I'm going to do a breakdown of Indy and the Great Circle. Probably not anytime soon, because I don't think I'm tempted to get it for my PC and just try, but the requirements look kind of extreme, not extreme, but like they're better than what I have. So I'm like, it might run, and I don't have an Xbox, so I will probably have to wait until it is out on PlayStation.
When does it come out on that?
Spring 2005. So it won't be too long.
We'll be pretty busy until at least after Skeleton Crew, so I wouldn't expect anything until.
And then if it comes out in April, we've got Japan.
We'll be in Japan.
We've got Celebration and Andor, so it might be a minute. But I am very excited to play it because it's getting great reviews. I've been hearing it's just like playing an indie movie, and I'm like, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
CC Pruitt, what's up, says, I like turtles. You all are the best, and I love a good Star Wars pirate makeover. Thanks, CC Pruitt. Turtles love you too. And so do we. What's up, Ice? Says episode 3 was great. A blast to watch from start to finish. Absolutely loving the show. I'm just getting more and more invested the more we learn.
Good. That's what I was hoping would happen, for at least for like the adults watching this show. Because I knew it was going to be fun and cute and like funny and all that kind of stuff, but I was like, what's in it for the nerds, the like hardcore adult nerds like us who are interested in this Old Republic mystery? And that's definitely keeping me going.
But now we kind of have, they're probably the same mystery, but like just watching the parents deal with what's going on with the supervisor, I like that. And then the kids learning about their home world and why it's more interesting than they thought.
Yeah.
I like all the mysteries they've established.
Which is nice because Acolyte told us it was a mystery thriller kind of. And it wasn't so much mystery as it was, we're going to wait till the last 2 episodes to give you anything to chew on. So good luck with that.
Apparently, I said it was coming out spring 2005 and not 2025.
Oh, no.
2025.
We'll be graduating high school.
I know, right? To be young again.
We're not old.
I mean, 18, that was...
I'm not tired.
What was it the other day? You just announced, I'm not dying.
I'm not dying.
So, some character in a TV show talked about having to get up to pee in the middle of the night as a sign of age. They're like, I'm not dying.
Nope, not me.
It couldn't be me. Bakey, thanks for the super chat. Talking about the Onyx Cinder when we were talking about that. You came in that? You're braver than I thought. Oshi Pachar, thank you for the super chat. Some of the Arabesh was just upside down. Screen Rush translated quite a bit of it. I translated all of it that I could. It's just a mess.
I'm curious to see what Screen Crush came up with, and
I mean, probably basically the same thing. Here, I'm gonna just take a screen grab of what I translated and pop it up so people can see how weird it is. So there we go.
Oh wait, Screen Crush, their YouTube channel. This came up when I Googled this. Screen Crush's YouTube channel posted a video that says why the Skeleton Crew planet is 100% cloning Palpatine.
Oh my God.
That's where that's from.
All right.
Great job over there. They're doing great things over there, I tell you.
So this is what I translated. The top 2, that's the group of words on the left side here. They're kind of separated. I put them next to each other because I didn't know if you were supposed to read them like as one line, because it kind of works, but it also is still just gibberish. And then some of the Arabesh, the last 2 lines are like written backwards for some reason. All of a sudden, it's very strange. So I don't think that they really wanted this to be too spelled out. Like maybe it would have given some actual clues away, and they know that people are going to translate it. So they were like, let's just make it kind of interesting, but not all the way.
Sorry, did you just hear me burp?
No.
No. I'm glad my mic did not pick that up.
Hilo's snoring behind me, so maybe I just thought it was a snore. Rose Doll, thanks for the super chat. Says, I'm getting Wizard of Oz vibes. Whisked off, trying to get home. Wim is Dorothy. Fern is the Scarecrow. KB is the Tin Man. And Neil is the Cowardly Lion. Jot is the Wizard? That's... Yeah, we were talking about Wizard of Oz.
The picture that I was looking at when I compared it to Wizard of Oz, it had...
the parents were in it, right?
The parents were in it. So Fern's mom, Wendell, Wim's dad was in it. And then it was Wim
and Fern.
And And Fern, yeah.
I think it was Lynn, Firm, and their parents.
Yeah, and then Neil and KB were not in the shot, so I don't know where they were.
Maybe they were all going to confront the supervisor or something.
Yeah.
And Neil was like, I just want to go home.
They were with their parents elsewhere, maybe.
I also want to point out this episode gave us another great Neil scream.
Yes. Oh my God.
And the Neil fall. Him tripping and rolling down that hill. It's kind of in the background of one of the shots, but that cracked me up.
Oh, and we were walking Hilo earlier. I was thinking about what I was going to draw, and I just said out of nowhere, I might draw Neil with a gun.
Yeah.
Because he, in one scene, he like picks up Jod's blaster and he's like kind of like looking at it like,
his eyes get huge.
And then he puts it down quickly and he's like, oh, I better not touch that.
Yeah, never mind. You see his eyes bug out and you're like, what's he looking at? And then he pulls a gun up and just like puts it back down.
I didn't want to, I mean, I might draw Neil 2 weeks in a row down the line, but because Kim was in this, I was like, I gotta draw Kim. But otherwise I would have drawn Neil with a blaster in his hand.
Yeah. Ice says, Jod is already one of my favorite scoundrel characters. I love how many tricks he has up his sleeve. His moves feel right out of the Han Solo playbook, and that I'm making this poodoo up as I go. Like pulling the fuel line, hoping it would break, and inadvertently wrecking Brutus's fleet. The dust storm to escape the X-Wings was also dope. Fern and Wem couldn't see, but neither could the pilots. Yeah, I'm enjoying Jod a lot. I still just like want more screen time with all the characters, which means they're all working for me.
Yeah.
But having some of those, like the slow moment between him and KB when all the other kids were asleep, I liked that. And I do think that maybe they could be developing an extra rapport and respect for one another so that if her medical emergency happens, like Jod might have a little extra investment in this kid.
Yeah. Jod has great chemistry on his own and with the kids.
Bill Rooklyn, thanks for the very generous super chat. Is Wem's father the first character to wear eyeglasses in Star Wars? Dr. Pershing wears glasses in The Mandalorian. And who?
Tech.
Oh yeah, goggles. Well, it's a visor.
Yeah. He kind of wears.
Well, yeah, he has glasses too.
Yeah.
But I was also going to think of it's like an analyst in Star Wars Rebels. That's the first one I can recall. Actually, if we want to, since this referenced the holiday special, I think Art Carney's character in the holiday special wore glasses.
Yeah. There's not many of them, but they are there. And a lot of times they'll make the glasses look extra Star Wars-y. These glasses just look like straight up glasses from like the 70s, 80s.
Dr. Pershing has kind of just straight up glasses.
Yeah.
Andrew 711 says, Aton is the lost banking world of the Old Republic. And how do we know that the Imperial remnants aren't in control of Aton? That's kind of what I'm saying. That it would be interesting to see that Aton might unknowingly be funding the Imperial remnant or something.
Interesting, yeah.
That they've been told to funnel money somewhere, and they're like, sure, we're giving it to the Republic, right? And the Empire's like, sure.
That would be so devastating for them to learn.
Yeah.
Like everyone on that planet is going to learn at some point something crazy is going on. There's a whole rest of the universe out there.
I do like, obviously they're not going to get back to Aton right away, but I'm glad that they're going to have other pit stops. And there's one specific one from the trailer where it's the kids, and it looks like they're preparing to fight alongside other kids their age. And I'm like, that's great. Like, show these kids from the suburbs how other people live, and they realize like, oh wow, we didn't know it was like this in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Cole Fuchs asks, Molly, what's your take on Jeremy Allen White playing Jabba's son, specifically you?
I am going to talk about this in the Q&A coming out on Saturday, but I thought this news was a joke when I first saw it. I was like, who is pranking me right now? Then I was like, yeah, okay, this sounds interesting, I guess. Like, it just comes out of total like left field, I feel like. But another part of me wonders if I know that this got confirmed by like all the publications, but I'm also like, maybe someone was leaking information that is wrong on purpose. Like maybe Jeremy Allen White is going to be in the movie playing somebody else, and they were going to see who it was that leaked this information and say it was Rada. I don't know. I'm cool with it though. Like I'll be excited to see where he is now, where he's been, if he's a good guy, a bad guy.
I think there are some interesting possibilities, but yeah, reading that headline was it was so weird. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say mind F, because that's how I felt. I was like, what?
And I wonder why or how this got leaked, because this would have been a fun surprise, honestly. And I'm sure they didn't want this information to come out. So that kind of bums me out.
Billionth Kevin says, the big question, are they going to use the phrase skeleton crew on screen so we can all point and explain they said it? I'm going to go with yes.
You think
I think someone will say the words skeleton crew. I don't know. I'm just taking a meaningless stand.
They could, like, by the end of the season, they could, like the Goonies, they could be like, that's our name, the skeleton crew.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Skeleton crew never dies.
They've already said skeleton a couple times, and I was happy with that. So I don't know.
Maybe the skeletons will come to life and they're like, oh, it's some kind of skeleton crew.
Yeah, maybe they all disguise themselves as skeletons at some point. I don't
know. Mark Blow says, I know why you say SM33 is older than Z, but do we know that Z is only around 200? Was Santari her first owner? Also, if the cables mean he is older, then where are Hu Yang's cables? Or is SM33 more than 25,000 years old?
Hu Yang, I think, has been making upgrades to himself.
He even says he's like 75% original parts.
Yeah.
We don't know what he looked like when he first started. But also he probably had superior Jedi craftsmanship, and Smee was built by pirates, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
As far as Santari Creed, yeah, I don't know how old Z is. I more meant that I think Smee was buried and missing for longer than Z was. But yeah, Z could also be an old Republic era droid. Nice, thanks for 2 more super chats. I love how much this episode focused on KB. She shot up majorly in just this one episode. I already liked her, but now she's challenging Neil as my favorite of the kids, which is saying a lot. One mystery in the series that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about that I hope the show gets into is Smee's old crew and how they crashed on Aton. I doubt they found it accidentally. I definitely think we're going to learn more about all of that. Maybe they'll find a way to restore Smee's memory or something. But that's another mystery that I think would be fun to explore.
It would be interesting if Smee SM33 started remembering stuff as the show goes. I don't know if that would work, but we also don't know how much or how his memory has been eaten by this rat thing. He could just have some loose wires, and maybe they work on him a little bit to try to fix him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to learn more, but like it could just be another character that is like really invested in pirate lore, the same way Kim knows a lot about astrogation.
I think there could be like what do they call it on ships?
Like just a captain's log?
Captain's log, yeah. I think there could be a captain's log on there somewhere, a recording, hologram, or maybe handwritten. I don't know. Something. I want the kids to like find something. Maybe Wim finds it and kind of like keeps it to himself for a while, and eventually he's like, well, I found this, and they're like, hello, this has clues and help in it.
It has the way to Aton.
He needs his like bedtime story, so he could find something like that.
That actually could be interesting. Like if Wim found a key piece of like, here's how you get back to Aton, and Wim is having so much fun on this adventure that he's like, I'm just gonna pocket that for now. It reminds me of like Yellow Jackets and the girl breaking that black box.
Yep. Oh, like, it wouldn't go on for that long.
No.
But yeah.
He would not doom them to being lost forever.
Guess we're cannibals now.
Yeah. Cameron Andrews, thanks for the super chat. Who do you think the supervisor will be? Think it'll be a Wizard of Oz man behind the curtain scenario? Yeah. Molly definitely agrees.
Yeah, I talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah. I think it would be cool if it was a droid, just kind of set on repeat to do the same thing it's always had to do.
I don't know what like would make the most thematic sense. I do kind of like the idea of it being droid overlords. And it's just one main droid that talks to the safety droids. I know, well, let's see. Farah did say I think she was going to try to get a meeting with the supervisor. So maybe she has met with them before, but it also could be a man behind the curtain thing that she meets with.
Maybe people who try to get meetings with the supervisor on Aton always end up meeting with their droid assistant.
Yeah.
And they're like, the supervisor is very busy today. They apologize for not being able to meet with you. But
the supervisor
I'm
is
here.
Ron Swanson, and the assistant is April Ludgate.
Yeah. I'm very busy.
I can see him right there. I can see the crew using Kim's references to retrace Smee's the steps of Smee's pirates. Her list of planets might match one they find the ship visited, so they can start following clues to Aton. I do kind of hope that's how it goes. Like I want them to follow a trail of clues. That just sounds like more fun than we have the coordinates but the ship keeps breaking down. It'd be cool that they have to go to a planet and achieve a goal, and then they can leave that planet.
Right. Yeah, we've seen lots of shots of different looking planets in the trailers. There's like a casino looking fancy planet.
Fancy hot springs planet.
There's like a trash planet or like a trash planet area on a planet. Ooh, that could be like the trash lady in Labyrinth.
Yeah.
That could be interesting.
There's like fancy planet, trash planet. There's this also might be the trash planet, but there's a planet with like a bunch of kids that we've seen pictures of. There's the crab planet, which could also be the trash planet. I don't know. Some of these might double up, but
so yeah, I wonder if they will start visiting some of the planets on that list, and they're like, guess we can start here, might as well.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that they snuck Alfred Molina in this as the old Ishii Tib Jod runs into. I couldn't place the voice at first, but it sounded so familiar. Had a big laugh during the credits. Alfred Molina makes everything better.
I don't think, maybe he was, but when we got the screeners, did you say he wasn't in the credits?
I don't. I know I looked through the credits, so they may have just not included that.
Maybe they added it as like a surprise.
But it was a surprise to me today, but I may have just missed it.
I remember hearing him talk, and I was like, "That is a famous voice," and I couldn't place it. I couldn't tell what it was.
You're really good at picking out voices, and I just kind of like, I'm never noticing it unless it's if like Gilbert Gottfried shows up.
Yeah, I've become my parents, because I remember growing up, we'd be watching stuff and my parents would be like, who is that actor? What were they in? And they would like sit there and talk amongst themselves about what else they were in. I do that with voices. And then I'm like, I got to look this up.
You can usually pick them out.
Yeah.
But we are going to wrap up for today because we are actually going out of town tomorrow. We're doing a little cabin trip with our friends. So it's a shorter episode this week, but And also no Lego stream, unfortunately, this week. But next week, normal schedule, normal times. We're not going to be rushing around.
Yeah.
We already shot the Q&A, and I have to edit that tonight. So we're like rushing to get everything done.
We still have to wrap some presents. It's like it's crazy having a show out in the holidays like this because we've just got a bunch of other stuff. Everybody's got a lot going on during the holidays. So hopefully you all understand. But I'm happy and excited that we got to do this. As far as the next couple shows, next week should be normal. Christmas and New Year's, we haven't really talked about it, but we might just stream on Thursdays the day after.
We're definitely not going to stream on Christmas Day.
No.
So that it'll be the 26th or the 27th, and then for New Year's it'll either be probably the 3rd. Or wait, no, second or third. We'll need the first to recover, but the second we'd probably be all right.
Yeah. And I do want to quickly plug the Patreon again because we are starting to put together some fun, cool new stuff for the Patreon that we're going to be talking more about next year in the new year. But we are still doing reactions to all the Skeleton Crew episodes, but we are also doing full commentary watch-alongs. So at the $5 tier, you can watch those. You can sync them up to the episode on Disney Plus and basically watch the episode with us. And we have more to say because it's like the second or third time we're watching it. So sometimes our reactions are a little boring, but
I like to sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah. The commentaries, the watch-alongs, we'll definitely have more to say.
Well, cool. Everyone have a great night. We will see you all next week for episode 4, which I'm very excited for because we have no idea what's happening for the rest of the season.
We haven't seen a new episode of Skeleton Crew in how long?
Like 4 weeks.
4 weeks. So yeah, I'm excited to see something brand new to us.
Yeah. Everyone have a great rest of your night, and may the force be with you.
Bye.